So 2 minus x to the power 6 can be opened as 6c0, 2 to the power 6 minus x to the power 0, 6c1, 2 to the power 5 minus x to the power 1, 6c2, 2 to the power 4 minus x to the power 2, 6c3, 2 to the power 3 minus x to the power 3. So if we just open it as, we can open this as 64 minus 192x plus 240 x square minus 160 x cube. Similarly, the other question was 1 minus 2x to the power 8. This was supposed to open till 4 terms again. Now, if you note that the first term will always give me the number, because in the first part, even when we solved 2 minus x to the power 6, did you see that 6c0 is actually 1 and anything to the power 0 is actually 1 as well. So the first value is basically a to the given power. So what we can do is, we can directly write it as a to the power 8, or you can do it completely as it was done before. So this is 8c0, 1 upon to the power 8 and minus 2x to the power 0. 8c1, 1, 8 minus 1 will become 7, minus 2x to the power 1. 8c2, this will be 1 to the power 6 minus 2x to the power 2. And lastly, 8c3, 1 to the power 5 and minus 2x to the power 3. If we open this thing down, the answer for this will be 1 minus 16x plus 112x square minus 448x cube. Similarly, another question was given, and that was 1 minus x to the power 7. So we can directly write this thing as 1 to the power 7 plus, this would be 7c1, 1 to the power 6 minus x to the power 1. This should be 7c2, 1 to the power 5 minus x to the power 2 plus 7c3, 1 to the power 4 minus x to the power 3. So the answer for this is 1 minus 7x plus 21x square minus 35x cube. Then we have is 2 minus 3x, 2 minus 3x to the power 5. So this, solving this will be 5c0, 2 to the power 5 minus 3x to the power 0. Then we will have 5c1, 2 to the power 4 minus 3x to the power 1. 5c2, 2 to the power 3 minus 3x to the power 2. And similarly, 5c3, 2 to the power 5 minus 3 will become 2 and minus 3x to the power 3. And if we just write down the answer for this, the answer will be 32 minus 240 x plus 720 x square minus 1080 x cube. Then we have is 2x plus 1 to the power 5. Now, obviously, this is going to be solved as 5c0, 5c1, 5c2, and 5c3 again. You will open 4 terms. You must have opened it up till now. So the answer would be 32 x to the power 5 plus 80 x to the power 4 plus 80 x cube plus 40 x square. Please note, why is this descending? In all the previous questions, they were ascending power, because now see, the x is particularly in the value of a. So normally the question is of ascending order. So in this case, if a question is given, you can directly write it as 1 plus 2x. So if 1 plus 2x is there, then the power will always be in the ascending order, because x will be in part of b. Similarly, if we have 3x minus 2, again looking at the question, I can see that I will be getting a descending order answer, because x is in the A. So the answer for this is 729 x to the power 6 minus 2916 x to the power 5 plus 4860 x to the power 4 minus 4320 x to the power 3. As discussed, if x is in with the coefficient of b, so obviously I can directly write it as that this part will be ascending, whereas if x is with a, this part will be descending. So these were the questions given in the previous lecture. Let's just continue with this. Now, if I start off and tell you that there can be a question that x square minus 1 upon x to the power 5. Now, looking at the question, can you see that there are x in both? There's x in A, there's also x in B as well. And if we need to open it for find the first 4 terms, we have been told find the first 4 terms. So the question says x square minus 1 upon x to the power 5. We need to open what? First 4 terms. So can we say that to open first 4 terms, we start off with 5c0 x square to the power 5 minus 1 upon x to the power 0. This is your first term. Then we will have is 5c1 x square to the power 4. Then we will have minus 1 upon x to the power 1. Then we will have 5c2 x square to the power 3 minus 1 upon x to the power square. This should be 5c3 x square to the power 5 minus 3 becomes 2. And this is minus 1 upon x to the power 3. So first, second, third, and fourth. And in all the terms, if you see that term 1, the power is taken is 0. Term 2, power taken is 1. Term 3, power taken is 2. Term 4, power taken is 3. So that means that always the power is 1 less than the term. So if we just solve this, 5c0 is 1. So this should be x to the power 10, because minus 1 upon x to power 0 will also be 1. This will be 5c1 is 5, right? Multiply by, when I use the dot sign, that shows that it is multiplied. And this is to x to the power 8 multiply by minus 1 upon x. Then we have plus 5c2 will become 10. 5c2 becomes 10 multiply by x to the power 6. This will be 1 upon x square. Then we have 5c3 is 10 again. So that means we have x to the power 4 multiply by minus 1 upon x cube. So now, if we solve this thing down, we can see the answer is x to the power 10 plus, if this x and this 8 is cancelled, we are left with what? 7. So the end result for this should be minus 5 x to the power 7. Similarly, can I say this is square and this is 6? Square and 6 is cancelled, you are left with what? 4. So, and 1 upon x is in positive as well. So this will give me 10 x to the power 4. Then we have negative here, because obviously with the cube bracket, we will write down as negative. And if you see cube and 4 are cancelled, so you are left with 1. So the answer for this will be 10x to the power 1. So this is another question, 2x cube minus 1 upon x square to the power 6. Find the 4 terms, starting 4 terms. So let's just solve this. This is going to be 6c0 2x cube to the power 6 minus 1 upon x square to the power 0 plus 61 2x cube to the power 5 minus 1 upon x square to the power 1 plus 62 2x cube to the power 4 minus 1 upon x square to the power 2. And lastly will be 63 2x cube to the power 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. And minus 1 upon x square to the power 3. Now, if we solve this thing down, we will understand that 3 into 6 is 18 and 2 to the power 6 is 64. So this would be 64 x then we have is 61 2x cube to the power 5 minus 1 upon x square to the power 1. So what we can do is 61 and 2x cube will become what? 15. So 6 into 2 will become 2 to the power 5 is also there. So can we say, and minus 1 upon x square will become minus 1 upon x square because of to the power 1. So the end result should be in negative. And the final answer for this is 192 x to the power 13. Then what do we have? 62 is 15. So can we say 2 to the power 4 and 3 multiplied by 4? 2 to the power 4 will be 16 and 3 multiplied by 4 will be 12. Similarly, minus 1 to square will be 1, but x square multiplied by 2 will be x to the power 4. So final result for this is 240 x to the power 8 after we cancel what? X as well. Then finally the last answer for this should be minus 160 x cube. So these were the first 4 terms that were taken out for 2x cube minus 1 upon x square to the power 6. 3x cube minus 1 upon 2x to the power 7. The examiner says find the coefficient of x. Now, to find the coefficient of x, like for suppose in the previous question, 64 was basically coefficient of x to the power 18. 1 minus 192 was coefficient of x to the power 13. 240 x squared should be the coefficient of what? X to the power 8. Minus 160 is coefficient of what? X to the power cube. So that means that if I want to find the coefficient of x, either I will open all the terms, because out of all the terms, there would be one term with a coefficient with x. Or I can do this as direct method. The direct method will be used as to find out where that x coefficient lies in what term. To find out where that x coefficient lies in what term. For that, you need to understand the values of x only. For suppose, let's ignore the coefficient with x. Only pick upon those which has x and the power. So let's say, can we see that x cube minus 1 upon x, I only picked upon what? I only picked upon the powers of x and the x value. I removed the coefficient from it. Now I see that A has x cube and B has minus 1 upon x, because obviously x is in the denominator. Can I say that if I write down the first term using x only, ignore 7C0, 7C1, 7C2, 7C3, ignore that. Just focus on A and B. can I say my x cube will have power of 7 multiplied by 1 upon x will have power of 0. I am only working with the values of what? X only. I removed the coefficient from this. Now, can I say the other power will be, using comma, the next term will be x cube to the power 6, and this should be 1 upon x to the power 1. The other term will be x cube to the power 5, and this should be 1 upon x to the power 2. I opened till 3 terms. You can even do it with 2 terms. That really does not matter. But let's just open it till 3 terms to make things easier for us. We see that with this respect, your first value is x to the power 21 multiplied by x to the power 0. So the answer for this is x to the power 21. Let's solve this next one. This is x to the power 18 upon 1 upon x to the power 1. So the answer would be x to the power 17. Let's solve the other one. X to the power 15, 1 upon x square. Because square is on the entire bracket. So can I say this is going to be 1 upon x to the power 13. Now, can you see the difference? 21 and 17. What is the difference between these two powers? What is the difference between these two powers, 17 and 13? 4. So that means if the first term is x to the power 21, your second term is x to the power 17, your third term is x to the power 13, your next term should be x to the power 9, then your other term should be x to the power 5. Then your next term should be x to the power 1. So can you see when it particularly said find out the coefficient of x? So that means this has power 1. And when I see that my x to the power 1 comes when? T1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and T6. My sixth term is with the coefficient of x. So I have always said that whenever you need to take the power, your power will be 1 less than the term. So that means your term is 6. Your power should be 5. And the exact question was x cube minus 1 upon x to the power 7. But I removed the coefficient. Your exact question was 3x and this had 2. Do you agree? So can I say now open it properly? I will open as 6c because the term was 6. The power will be 5. The term is 6. The power should be 5. The coefficient 3x cube. This would be 7 minus 5 minus 1 upon 2x to the power 5. And when we particularly open this, that is 2x cube minus 1 upon 2x to the power 7, which is open as 7c5, 3x cube, 7 minus 5 minus 1 upon 2. The answer for this should be 21. This should be 9x to the power 6. And this should be minus 1 upon 2 to the power 5 is 32x to the power 5. So if you see that when 5 and 6 is cancelled, you are left with what only? 1. So 21 multiplied by 9 divided by 32. Your end result should be 189 upon 32x. So the coefficient of x is equal to minus 189 upon 32. This will be the answer for x cube minus 1 upon x to the power 7 to finding out the coefficient of what? The power 7, which is minus 189 upon 32.